Welcome back trackside once again, race fans here to the Turn 3 Racing Network. Tonight, the Masters of the Draft Gen 6 Cup Series fires off for the first time with its 4-week mini-season here with the National Association of Stock Car Virtual Racing qualifying already behind us. Getting set for tonight's 250-mile race. Sun setting in the background here at the iconic Daytona International Super Speedway. Drivers set to jump behind the wheel of a car. 100 laps in the official race distance. Who's going to walk away with the top spot? Who's going to walk away with first checkered flag behind the wheel of these Gen 6 machines? A lot of racing still remaining in this very unique season here with the Masters of the Draft. So before we head trackside here in Happy Hour, how you doing? How you feeling? Out there in TV land, race fans, glad you could all join us here tonight. As always, Dave of the Cave, bringing you all the calls from trackside. Speaking of trackside, what do you say as the music begins to fade away? We bring you some of those qualifying feeds. A little earlier here tonight from Daytona International Super Speedway, and just like that, on cue and ready to go, Greg Thompson unloaded his machine, and he's going to sit top of the speed charts, 47.19 here in qualifying. Very fast time for Thompson. Landon Lacey, Jack Dorm, Al Likens, and Andrew Moore will round out your top 5. Large field of drivers here tonight. You can see all the way down there, just around that 15th position behind the wheel of the number 80 Little Rescue machine. Mark Willett, one of those fast drivers that just seems to, there's just that final piece, right? We've watched Willett have great runs and just trouble find them near the end. Will this Gen 6 machine any different for him? Starting here tonight under the lights at Daytona International Super Speedway. There's a look at the rest of your qualifying times. 3 drivers, no time lap. They'll start from the rear of the field here tonight. So that's what your qualifying order looks like. And I don't know, you know, we've had the 87s, right? You know, that season already behind us. We've already had the Gen 4s as well. So a much different bag of tricks here tonight. A bunch more aero dependent machines. What will the speeds be? We've seen speeds of over 100 miles an hour, single car qualifying early here tonight. Will we see those 205, possibly 210 if you remember back those 87 machines? Almost 215 miles an hour around these super speedway tracks. And it's gonna be a hard fought battle all night long, all season long. We've got 4 weeks right here in these Gen 6 machines, and then we're gonna be crossing over to the Xfinity ride. So who's gonna claim the crown behind the wheel of these Gen 6 machines? Happy hour getting a little bit crowded in the final few moments here. Just about 3 to 4 minutes remaining in happy hour. Drivers will then make their way through pre-race inspection, and we'll get ready to kick things off here tonight. From Daytona International Super Speedway, you're watching the Masters of the Draft, brought to you by the National Association of Stock Car Virtual Racing, right here on the Turn 3 Racing Network on iRacing.com, the world's #1 racing simulator. So we've had a lot go on already early throughout this long season. 5 mini championships to crown an overall draft king? Will it be Jacob Drift, the proclaimed Drift King? Will he be able to get the job done? Will he be able to get that 14 machine back to victory lane? Has been to victory lane only one time so far this season, with only 4 drivers to victory lane, all of them in the field here tonight. We'll see if they win again or if we'll have a fresh face right there in that checkered flag circle. Who's going to do it? How's it going to go down? We're going to find out in just a minute. We're going to head to a brief commercial break, then trackside for your national anthem and your starting lineup. Don't go anywhere, race fans. We'll be right back.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic, real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly wailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rackets regular, the boats bursting in out, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
And back trackside as we get ready for tonight's race. 100 laps around the 2.5 mile track here tonight. Who's going to get the job done? Let's jump right to it. Beginning to roll off of pit road inside row number 1. Walking away with your pole position to here tonight behind the wheel of that 08 machine, the Virginia native, going to try to get it done down here in Florida under lights. The 08 of Greg Thompson will bring us to the green flag. Landon Lacey just to his outside at his Old Spice number 54 machine in row number 2. Jack Dover, and Al Likens. Andrew Moore, Joe Wells, back in row number 3. Row number 4 here tonight. Behind the wheel of that familiar 31 machine, the Torqued Wrench Motorsports driver, Scott Wise. Jacob Drift, the Drift King, will start outside row number 4 in that 8th position. William Britton, Dakota Bailey. Back in row 5. Row number 6 here tonight, Mark Ackerman and Adam Benefield. Row 7 for the 100 lap event here tonight from Daytona International Super Speedway, Gregory Thurlow and Bowman Pendergast. Mark Willett, Dave Fuge, back in row 8. Row number 9, the 59 of Darren Mack, and the 74 of Zach Halanen. David Duke, Daryl Johnson will round out row number 10 and your top 20. Brandon Browning, Corey Coe, Richard Smith finish out the 23-car field here tonight. So as drivers make their way off of turn number 4, we're going to get ready to watch the horsepower let go into the Geico restart zone, and away we go. Green flag flies for the first time here tonight from Daytona International Super Speedway. We want to stand corrected real quick. Let's get this out of the way. The Gen 7 cars, the first 4-week mini-season, we believe it was the Gen 4s, but that's going to be the final 4-week mini-season that we will also crown not just that Gen 4 champion, but we'll crown an overall champion at the end of this season. We'll get into some of your overall points championship standings a little later on throughout tonight's race. Watch these drivers trying to settle in as the sun settles in the background and the lights come on, heating things up on the track. But Gregory Thompson still out front, going to lead lap number 1. Outside lane, Landon Lacey not giving up. He's got the credit 194 of Al Likens right behind him. How about a little retro look onto that 77 of Andrew Moore? Like the way that paint scheme's looking. How about Jacob Drift, the Drift King? Sport. The breast cancer awareness colors here this month. Right behind the wheel of that Drift King. Pink machine, we'll see if he can get back to victory lane for the second time this season. Dakota Bailey looking for his 4th win, changing of the guard at the front of the field with the 54. Going to the top of the speed charts. Speaking of speed charts, what do you say we drop that time meet scoring over there to the left-hand side of your screen? Let you follow along and find your favorite driver in the field here tonight. I bet you didn't think you were gonna see Lightning McQueen out there on the track tonight. They didn't see now at 24 Dakota Bailey trying to Kachega his way. That was terrible. Never do that again. Just saying. Never mind. Let's roll on. You know, it's always good when we can make fun of ourselves and have a good time here, but nonetheless, these drivers still heating things up. Lacey and Likens able to make that high side work. Dakota Bailey grabbed that top spot, trying to make the high lane move, but just being unsuccessful right now. Small gaps beginning to develop on the bottom of the racetrack. Will Bailey try to squeeze his way down? How about that 31 machine just behind him? There it is, just like clockwork. Scott Wise going to drop from the top side down to the bottom. We've got to move there. A little swap of positions. Dakota Bailey going to jump to the inside for a moment. Oh, and it looks like we may have trouble. Jack Dorn heading to the rear of the field. Durham in the 17th. And you can see him behind the wheel of that Yingling machine. The 17 heading to the back. 40. Little contact with the outside wall. You don't want to do that too much too early. Bowman Pendergrass. With a touch of the outside wall. Look for him to fall through the field. 37. Mark Ackerman. Sport a fresh new paint scheme here tonight. Take a look at that. Monster Energy Camry working its way through 3 and 4. Long train of single file cars down on the bottom, just 4. Willing to jump to the high side for the time being. Let's keep our eyes up here at the front for anything go on. And we've got 3 wide. 3 wide. And that's going to be short-lived and only for a moment. Jacob Drift jumped to the high side, not going anywhere here. He's going to have to look for a spot to get back down. So the bottom. Bailey and Co. trying to make it work on the high side. Drivers eyeballing the opportunity to jump out there, but just can't seem to completely commit to that high side just yet. Few stages in tonight's race. We will not call a stage caution though. We're going to keep it wound up and keeping it wound up there, jumping to the high side from that second position. Al Likens is looking to get to the front as we're 3 wide. A lot of movement out of these machines working their way off of turn 4 into the front stretch. Big wiggles. Woo. Showing why they call him the Drift King. Little touch of the outside wall. That's going to scatter drivers. 2-3 wide for a moment. It's getting a little busy at the front of the field early here tonight from Daytona International Super Speedway. Take a look at that fresh. I believe that's the 48 down there on the bottom of the racetrack, just behind the 77 of Andrew Moore. The 58 on the side, but that is indeed gonna be David Duke. So with a little bit of a tussle at the front of the field early before our first 10 laps can be completed, a second pack has decided the safe place to be, the place to run for the time being. A little bit behind. You can see them all single file right here being led around the track by that 38 of Gregory Thurlow. 3, 4, 5 cars all here in this second pack. Jack Dorn, Bowman Pendergrass, Richard Smith. Little out to dry right now. Very early, so these guys have a long way to go and a huge opportunity to try to make up the time. And there it is. Trouble off of turn 4. Drivers scattering everywhere. A lot of drivers having some issues. We'll see if we can't pin down what exactly took place. Mark Ackerman going to have an off-track moment. Al Likens with an issue. David Duke, Andrew Moore, all having trouble here. And that's going to pull it. Caution flag will fly. Caution will fly here on lap number 10. Trouble off of turn 4. Let's see if we can't get that one queued up where it all began. Let's go. Check the replay. Hidden teeth, front of the field. 94 gets turned a little bit sideways. Can't get off that front bumper of the 54. Carnage chaos from there. Lots of drivers making their way around here. Jacob Drift, you can watch him on the high side safe. And see, this is why drivers like that high side, because it's usually going to go down just for a second and then come straight up the racetrack, and we've seen that happen. Of these first few drivers out front, running that high line, able to skate by without any issues, no trouble. Find ourselves under caution for the first time here tonight from Daytona International Super Speedway. Lap number 10 on the board. Dakota Bailey, new race leader. Ooh, Scott Wise getting that 31 good wrench machine slowed up. A handful of drivers at the rear of the field needed some trouble. They needed something to go on in order to close back in that gap. In order to have a chance at a significant enough draft to keep themselves relevant throughout tonight's race. And look at this, looking like a man that has no prom date, all alone out there on the dancing floor. Dakota Bailey, only driver gonna stay out. Everybody else coming down pit road. Not sure the tires are going to be that significant, but the big thing will be the fuel. If we see a long green flag run, Dakota Bailey going to be well at a disadvantage. And will that force him to be a solo for a green flag pit stop, or could he possibly have somebody come down and help him out with the draft, with the speed? We'll see how it all goes. Very long race here tonight. A lot of laps still left in front of us. Five drivers on the official car count for the first caution here tonight from Daytona International Super Speedway. Will any of them have to use that fast fix? One quick repair for the drivers in the field here tonight. That's going to be one thing that drivers typically try to keep in their back pocket as long as they possibly can. And with the caution being so early here tonight, look for a few of these drivers possibly to just get into some damage control at this point in time, just trying to save some face. Put that fast fix in play a little bit later on throughout tonight's race, and it does indeed look like a handful of drivers involved gonna do it. Likens, Lacey, Thompson, Landon, all long pit stops, a lot of fixing going on pit road early here tonight under the lights at Daytona International Super Speedway. You're watching the National Association of Stock Car Virtual Racing's Masters of the Draft. Boss man in the flag stand gonna give the one to go. Our good buddy Joe Hugo behind the wheel of the pace car here tonight. He's gonna bring the field back around and then let him loose as Dakota Bailey in a little bit of a deficit in the fuel department. An 11 lap difference. And that's quite a difference. I believe Bailey may be second guessing that staying out call. But you know, I mean, when you are the race leader, you're kind of, I don't want to say you're out of luck, but typically we see the field do whatever you don't like. If Bailey hadn't came to pit road, how many drivers would have came to pit lane already? Or would they have rolled the dice the way that we've seen them roll the dice, such as Bailey has? Or would the entire field come to pit lane? We'll never know at this point in time, but we're going to know who's ready to roll here in just a second. We're going to re-rack them, restack them, and restart them As the field works their way off of turn 4, Hugo gonna bring that iRacing base car back down pit lane, and we will get set to unleash the beast once again. All the gas and green flag flies here from Daytona International Super Speedway. Bailey with a good jump on the restart. He's going to well and clear himself. The 9 right behind him, outside lane already. Beginning to get a little bit thin just as we say that. The 9 and 31 are going to jump right to the top side. That's going to pull. I believe that's going to be the 38. Yes, it is. Whoa, big moment, and oh no! Dakota Bailey around at the front, carnage, chaos, front of the field, big problems here. Big problems here on the track as we find ourselves under caution. Once again, second caution flag gonna fly not long after the restart. Let's go back. Let's check it out one more time. What happened with that 24? Contact with the 7, and I believe that was the 48. More contact here as the 77 going to pick up quite a bit of damage. We're going to take one more look at it from a different vantage point. There's the contact. There's the bump. 48 skates by. Big hard impact on that right front for the 93. Drivers scattering all the apron, trying to avoid the carnage on track. 2 quick cautions here from Daytona, and we've got ourselves a new race leader at the front of the field. For the first time here tonight, the 9 of Corey Cole will take the race lead. Multiple drivers caught up in this one as well, to sizable events here tonight. They have the majority of these drivers on the back foot. Corey Cole coming into tonight's race sitting outside of the top 10 in that overall championship standings, 273 points back. That is a huge deficit to overcome, but with I believe it's going to be 12 weeks of racing remaining, 11 after tonight's race. Still a long way to go in the season. He's still got the opportunity. We are not quite to that halfway point here this season with the Masters of the Draft, brought to you by the National Association of Stock Car Virtual Racers. Still a very long way to go. Some of these drivers right now, though, need to begin to try to string together those top 10s, those top 5s, those stage wins. Very important. Stage wins, bonus points, all come into factor by the end of this thing. And the man sitting at 6 for the moment, he's got the most bonus points throughout this entire season. Jacob Drift with a 100 bonus points in his back pocket. 1 stage win for Drift, 7 top 10s. 7 top 10s. Think about that, race fans. We are now on the 9th race of the season, and he's got 7 top 10s. Joe Wells, the only driver to have more top 10s in the field. Wells sitting in 4th. 8 top 10s, 4 top 5s. No race wins, but with consistency like that, you don't got to get to victory lane. Half of the races that are on the books, he has finished inside of your top 5. He's finished inside of the top 10 in every single race so far this season. Will anybody find a way to challenge Wells in that consistency department? Could tonight be the first night we see that 3 finish outside of the top 10? Long way to go to find out. We'll work our way through 3 and 4 back across the line. Lap number 18 will go on the board. Turn number 4, once again our good buddy Joe Hugo. A lot of work early here tonight. He's going to bring that iRacing pace car back down pit road, and we will let him loose in the restart zone on the gas early, and green flag flies once again here from Daytona. Corey Coe going to jump on the gas quick. Scott Wise going to drop to the bottom of the racetrack. Snake and follow that 9 as much as he can. Joe Wells going to clear Thurlow on the bottom of the racetrack. Jacob Drift now going to take the lead of that outside lane. The packs look like they may be getting a little bit smaller here. Drivers wary after 2 early cautions here tonight, catching out a vast majority of this field. Already after the restart, your top 12 breaking away. Second pack beginning to develop with that 93 of Dale Johnson showing the way. Greg Thompson, your pole sitter, in that front pack, but outside of your top 5. Benefield caught up and involved. You can see him running in that Mountain Dew Chevy. Last car inside lane, lots of moving near the front. Let's go up as Joe Wells jumps from the bottom. Going to pick up the momentum from that outside lane, continue to surge fuel forward, and Jacob Drift says, "Oh no." That's not what Drift said. He said Jacob was going to the high side looking for that top spot. Say, oh no, he's not gonna take the block at this point. He's gonna try to get to the front. We need a handful of laps here. Close racing action back through this pack as Jacob Drift shot out of a cannon. Takes advantage of the push, grabs the race lead, but may have gotten out there just a little too far. Here comes Brandon Brown. Brandon Lacey back to the front of the field. Looked like a little shake and bake. Ricky Bobby action, and oh no, Dakota Bailey around again. Dakota Bailey gonna go around again. Big trouble now as the 23 is gonna be involved. The 7 picks up some damage. The 08, your pole sitter, gonna catch a piece of the damage as well. Mark Ackerman also involved in this latest incident. Big trouble now for a handful of drivers. Let's go back. Let's check the replay. Oh my. Heavy impact for multiple drivers here. See if we get one more look at it. See Mark Ackerman right there at the 37. He's going to come up on the cartage. Almost make it through, but heavy hit there with the 08. 77 with a little bit of damage on his front end as well. Some drivers with trouble here at Daytona early here tonight. Back out front, the Wonder Bread 48 machine of Brandon Browning will show the way. So with pit stops about 10 laps ago, how many drivers through this field are going to eyeball pit road? It looks like we got a little bit of our answer right here. Some damage on that right front. Are you seeing this? Some significant damage on the front end of that 48 of Brandon Browning. And coming to pit road, Jacob Drift. He's going to stay out on the track. And, you know, I'm not so sure I like the strategy, right? We're going to take what's happened already here tonight and bring that into the mix. We seen earlier, after our first caution, the 24 of Dakota Bailey stay out on the track. About a 10 lap difference on the tires, which is what we've got about right now as well. And with the field with those fresh Goodyears and some fixed fenders, they were all over him. Contact with the 24 brought out our second caution of the night. Bailey going to be involved in this latest one again, so a lot of damage control coming out of that 24 pit crew tonight. Ackerman, Pendergast, Thompson, David Duke, Zach Alanen, all involved. And this latest incident on lap number 20 puts us under caution for the third time here tonight from Daytona International Super Speedway. And we have worked our way right at a quarter of the way through tonight's race. Back under caution once again. A boss man in the flag stand, I believe we're hearing. We're trying to get eavesdropping in on the official race chatter. And I do believe we're going to see the one to go this time around. Handful of drivers still on track. We're still in their pit box, we should say. Richard Smith just going to get underway. Dakota Bailey going to leave the pit road before he loses a lap. Adam Benefield and Greg Thompson, they're both going to get going. Barely keep themselves on the lead lap. But that's just how crucial it is here tonight. These drivers trying to save that fast repair, that quick fix, the reset button if you want. For a little bit later on throughout tonight's race, but the big question is how much damage? How will they be able to keep themselves in the draft? Right, if you can keep the draft, you're going to be fine. Right, you can have some damage. We've seen it many times across many different series in the leagues, whether it's here on iRacing.com or in real world racing, the NASCAR guys and girls. You've seen cars that you would just, you wouldn't think there's a way that they could even drive them. Be right up there in the mix at the end of these things. So as long as you're running, as long as you can keep yourself in the draft, you've got the chance, you've got the opportunity. We'll see how well these crews massage the fenders as we get ready to go back green flag racing once again. Here from Daytona International Super Speedway, we'll begin lap 24 right at that quarter. Mark as we embark on a long night here tonight. 250 miles of racing action coming at you from the high banks of Daytona International Super Speedway. So, here we go. Joe Hugo going to bring that pace car back to pit lane this time around. into the restart zone on the gas, and green flag flies once again here from Daytona International Super Speedway. Nice clean start. 48 going to go from the bottom to the top, trying to pick up a little bit of help from behind. Gregory Thurlow right there. 77 of Andrew Moore back up into the mix. You can see some damage on his right front. Whoa, big moment. Jacob Drift sliding through the corner. Contact from the rear from the 64. Big moment behind these guys. And check it out. No front clip on your pole sitter's machine, and he is flying it away to find some speed. My goodness. We talked about it. Drivers staying out on those older tires. Little bit of contact, little bit of damage on the rear of this 14. And it was almost caution number 4. Meanwhile, front of the field, back to the point once again. The dynamic duo of Ricky Bobby and Cal Naughton Jr. No, we're just kidding. That's Landon Lacey and Brendan Browning. Will we see some shake and bake? For the moment, the Magic Man leading the race behind the wheel of that 54 machine, having a little fun with it. I'm sure those drivers are having some fun with it. And caution will fly. Caution on the track. Once again here from Daytona, and we've got trouble near the back. Trouble near the back as Zach Lana is going to be involved in this latest one. Let's go up here. Oh my gosh! 17. Oh my. That's... Whew. That is a hard hit. One more look at it. Let's see if we can take a look. My gosh. Jack Dorn. Man, what a hit. Sliding to a stop. Let's go on board. Do we got that on board shot with him? We do. All right, here we go. Let's take it back just a little bit here. Riding through the corner. Everything's okay. And oh, no, it's not. Man. I'm telling you what, that is some hard impact. Well, one of our sponsors in the series getting a lot of work here tonight. Little Rescue saving lap machines 1. Caution at a time. Busy. 9-4 track workers are as we are on. Caution number 4 here. Jack Dorm with it just, oh my, I mean, just the impact there. If he hasn't used the fast repair, he's going to need to. I don't think you're going to get that one fixed in any type of timely manner. That's going to be a very long stay on pit road. What we should see, though, is that 14 of Jacob Drift heading down pit lane. Some of these damage machines also going to go back down pit road. Corey Cohn, David Duke, Andrew Moore, Greg Thompson, Dakota Bailey, Adam Beneful, Zach Lanen, Jacob Drift, Darren Mack, Joe Wells, Daryl Johnson, William Britt, Mark Ankerman. The whole field, basically, except your top 7 or 8 drivers, are going to stay out there on track. And again, the way this thing has kind of unfolded, right? I don't know that I'm staying out. We've seen 2 drivers attempt that strategy, and we've seen both of those drivers with trouble. We've seen both of those drivers with issues. You know, you got your spotter in the air, you got your crew chief talking to you as well. And I think at this point in time of the race, just over the quarter of the way through tonight's 100 lap event, if my crew chief calls and says, stay out, I'm coming in, coming in. I don't care. That seems to be the safest call. That seems to be the best bet, statistically speaking, here tonight. Other lights for the National Association of Stock Car Virtual Racing's Masters of the Draft Round 1 behind the wheel of these Gen 6 machines. I'm coming to get tires. I don't care what you say. I don't care how mad you get. If I've got a set I can get, I'm coming to get them. A tough 2 weeks of super speedway action coming at you here on Thursday nights with the Masters of the Draft. Next week, we're going to be heading to the huge iRacing super speedway. The front stretch and the back stretch, one of the longest you will find. The corners heavily banked, but a lot sharper. You gotta watch the bumps and the dips on the bottom, the way the track kind of throws you into the corner, or the way that the track kind of unloads on corner exit, unlike any other super speedway track that we're gonna. Whoa, and looks like a little trouble in paradise. Ricky Bobby having a little talk with each other. Cal Dalton may not have pleased him. After the iRacing Super Speedway, we're going to hit the Super Speedway, the repave at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and then back to Talladega to finish off the 4-week mini season. We'll find out who gets it done. Find out first who's going to walk away with the checkered flag. Here from Daytona International Super Speedway, drivers halfway down the backstretch, pace car lights out, we're ready to go back racing. So as drivers enter turns 3 and 4, who you got? Everybody, all the race fans in TV land, who you got for tonight's race? We're going to throw a name out there. You know what? No, we're not. It's way too soon to possibly get that broadcaster's curse going. As drivers in the field make their way out of turn number 4, we'll get ready to bring them to the restart zone. Pace car down and away, and we are set to get underway. All the gas and green flag flies once again here from Daytona. We'll complete the first lap after the restart with green flag action as the field heads down into turn number 1. Everybody chasing after race leader Brandon Jones at the front of this field. Out of turn number 2, we'll roll in back. Stretch once again, drivers hot and heavy action near the front of the field. And that's a grand moment now for Browning out front of that number 54 machine. So as we cross the line this time around, we'll drop the timing and scoring back to the left-hand side of your screen. Let you find and follow along with your favorite driver in the field here tonight. A little bit of a stack off as it looks like 38 of 30. Whoa! Contact. A little bit of contact there between Scott Wise in that 58 on the high side. Down the back stretch we roll, everybody chasing Brandon Browning. At the front of the field, you want to know what it's like in a pack of cars driving over 195 miles an hour. Let's take a look off the tail end of this 38 of Gregory Thurlow. You see hungry drivers behind him, and as we talked about, if you can stay in the draft, you're going to have yourself a chance. Look at that no front clip, just 2 cars back, and he is holding his own. For the moment, a lot of movement out of these machines through the corner. As we continue green flag racing here, handful of laps after the restart. Working our way down the backstretch back into turn number 3 once again. Field all packed up with each other. Looks like 2 drivers struggling with a little bit of pace. Way back behind the field, Bowman Pendergast and William Britton. Struggling here tonight. We've had 1 retirement so far, unfortunately. Issues for the 11 of Dave Fusion. He will pull his Ford Mustang back behind the wall, and that will put an early end to the run here tonight at Daytona for the 11 and his crew. Fume's gonna be listed with the final finishing position. Joe Wells may have some problems. I believe that's Joe Wells, may possibly, no, that's going to be Bowman Pendergast, just off behind this number 3 machine. And what do these drivers do, right? Here's Zach Lane and Craig Thompson. You've been caught up and involved in a handful of incidents already. We've seen the 17 of Jack Dorm hard impact with the outside wall. You see the strategy in play. For the 08 of Greg Thompson, your pulse or no front clip right now. No fast fix used, waiting for the opportunity to possibly present itself to get a fixed up race car at the end of things, but we've got a much different scenario for the driver of the 17. Struggling with pace now, all alone on the high side. That is not where you want to be if you're one of the drivers in damage control here. You got to get to the bottom. He's going to drop down now just in front of Mark Ackerman. Look for the 37 to try to reel in the 17 as these guys near the rear try to keep a little sniff of the drive. Meanwhile, up at the front of the field, I don't want to say nice and orderly, but single file. Bottom of the racetrack. Let's jump on board here. Looking over the credit one, number 94, Val Likens. Right behind Gregory Thurlow. Likens running in the fifth position. Has Scott Wise right behind him. You can hear him. Listen to him play with that throttle. Seems to be fuel throttle here getting into turn 1. But you heard him with a little bleed of the throttle there. Coming out of turn 4. Big run. Out of 2. Down the backstretch, really use it. Now we're going to decide to jump back out of the gas right on the rear bumper of that GD22 Designs number 38 machine. You think this is bad? Let's take a look back here on board the 55 Motorsports Rusty's tribute to Lightning McQueen. Dakota Bailey knocking on the door of the top 10, trying to close in now on the 7 of Adam Benefill. Handful of drivers jumping to the high side, trying to get something cooking, something going as we work our way out of turn number 2, back down the back stretch. Browning leads the inside lane. Teammate right behind him, but here comes Scott Wise. Wise to the high side. Wise looking for the race lead for the first time here tonight. At a turn 4, we roll top 2 on the high side. Will clear that bottom lane. Will the 94 of Vikings be able to get by and work his way to the bottom? No, that's going to be closed off. Now Wise and Corey Coe through the point. Will the 48 stay in line, or will he jump to the high side coming out of 4? I would expect to see him. There's the move. A lot of wiggling out of these machines. Pump drafting all around the track. Drivers trying to stay glued to each other. Through these corners, upsetting the tail end of the cars. Somehow able to keep things together on that high lane. We were just 10 laps away from the halfway point here tonight from Daytona International Super Speedway in the Masters of the Draft Gen 6 Cup Series, brought to you by the National Association of Stock Car Virtual Racing. We want to give a big shout out to all of the sponsors involved here with the Masters of the Draft. All of the teams involved. All the way from the U.S. Veterans Pole Award to Little Rescue, Butt Kicker, Wise Construction. Did we say Butt Kicker? If we didn't say Butt Kicker, we're going to say Butt Kicker, and if we did, well, we're going to say it twice. There's nothing like promoting a sponsor double time, especially one like Butt Kicker. Feel every bump, feel every breeze. For the future is feeling, feel what you've been missing with Butt Kicker. We've yet to see a green flag pit stop here tonight. A little bit of a long run now. Last time these drivers were on pit road, back at lap number 28, almost a 20 lap green flag run now. This is going to be the longest green flag run of the night. Show the way, Scott Wise. Out front, Corey Coe right there with Al Likens, Gregory Thurlow, and Richard Smith rounding out your top 5. Biggest mover of the race is behind the wheel of that 23 machine. And there it is again. Showing up what we talked about. If you're able to keep it in the draft, you got the opportunity to keep pace. No front clip on that 23, riding like a modified at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. 5th driver in line. A lot of air going around that machine, but he's able to stay tucked in as the 14 machine right behind him. So, there's dirty air back there, right? But not a lot of dirty air gonna bother the 23. If he jumps to the high side, though, it's going to be a different story. Expect him to drop through the field. Trying to get a historic win here tonight. Behind the wheel of that Jurassic Park number 23 machine, Richard Smith gonna bide his time. He's done all the damage control that he can. It doesn't get much better than this. We'll see when he decides to use that fast fix in the field here tonight. But for now, he's going to stay sitting in 5th. Whoa, trouble, and around they go. The 77 going to be involved in this latest one. Dakota Bailey, Greg Thompson also going up and involved. In big trouble here. All the backstretch, lap number 44. Let's go back. Let's check the replay once again. And looks like, will we see what happened? Nope. Thought we might get a first-hand view of all the carnage and chaos. Let's go back one more time. Let's check out what happened. Bailey involved. Yo, Wade gonna get punted to that inside. And just a really rough night here for your pole sitter. Gregory Thompson walked away with the U.S. Veterans Pole Award, and since it's just been trouble after trouble, there's that body slamming around. Well, it doesn't even go around, just goes way down off of the track, visiting some of that infield road course. And now with Bailey having more issues right at the halfway point. What do? Right? Do you go ahead now and use that fast fix? Or do you play it out a little longer? 24 lap run. And this last time around coming to an end as we see the 5th caution flag fly. I don't know. I'm almost. You know, I don't want to roll the dice and miss an opportunity, but I also don't want to get myself in trouble. We've seen 3 incidents at the front, 2 in the back. No real safe place to run here tonight, as rolling the dice once again will be the 14 machine of Jacob Drift. He's going to stay out on the track once again. We've seen this earlier. Will it be a wash, rinse, and repeat? Or will we have a different outcome? Last time, staying out didn't fare so well for the Drift King. We'll see if things go a little differently this time around, as the field finds themselves under caution for the 5th time here tonight. We're going to step away for just a brief commercial break. We'll be back with all your green flag action right here from Daytona International Super Speedway. Don't go anywhere, race fans. We'll be right back. And back trackside, following the field with the turn 3 drone, as promised, not missing any other green flag action to here tonight. Working our way down the back stretch and into turn number 3. We will let the drivers loose this time around. Lap number 47 will go behind us. 48 when we drop the green flag once again. You're from Daytona International Super Speedway. Caution coming out on lap number 44. We're set to go racing once again, this time by. Pace car in, field to the restart zone, on the gas, and green flag flies once again here from Daytona International Super Speedway. Driver set sail and head into 1 and 2. Jacob Drift still with the race lead, but battling now with Corey Cole to the high side. Chasing after each other halfway down the backstretch. Track race to turn number 3. Once again, the field packed up side by side, and now 2 drivers get to clear their way around. That's Corey Cohen out. Jacob Drift searching for a drafting partner at the top of the racetrack as we complete lap 48. We'll drop the timing and scoring. Back to the left-hand side of your screen, let you follow along, find your favorite driver in the field here tonight. And there you can see again, those drivers with significant heavy damage. No front clips to be found. Looking like modified machines. 23 of Richard Smith, and I believe that's going to be the 64. No, that's going to be the 7 of Adam Benefield right behind him. Top 3 drivers single file, bottom of the racetrack, being led by Jacob Drift. Scott Wise right there. 77 of Andrew Moore going to sit in third. Corey Coe battling with Carol Johnson. That's going to be 4th and 5th on the racetrack. Joe Wells, we mentioned his name earlier here tonight. Finishing with a top 10 position in every single race so far this season. Will tonight be the first night we see that put in jeopardy? Bit of a side draft and way up the racetrack. Coming out of turn number 4, the good wrench number 31 machine. Corey Coe going to go 3 wide for the race lead. Drift will lead him across the line. Still got pushing and shoving here on the track. The 93 all over the tail end of the 77. That's going to be 3rd and 4th car inside. Whoa! Not clear in contact. Big door check way up the track. And we've got trouble once again. Oh no! Up and over. Up and over, and we've got drivers with big trouble. Daryl Johnson, Zach Lanin. Big issues. Adam Benefield, Landon Lacey, Mark Ackerman, all involved in this one. Bowman Pendergrass. Let's go back and take a look. Last driver's trying to slow down after the carnage of chaos in front. My goodness. A lot of drivers are going to be involved in this one. Let's go back. Let's check another look. 64, watch this hit. Up and over. Sliding down the racetrack onto his lid. That is never good to be upside down. William Britton, big trouble now. Back out front with race leader Scott Wise has the trouble behind. Takes out a handful of drivers and drew 4. Bowman Pendergrass, Mark Ackerman, Richard Smith, Landon Lacey, Adam Benefield, Zach Lanin, Darren Mack, Daryl Johnson. A laundry list of drivers. William Britton also involved. Dakota Bailey back behind pit wall after this latest incident. A lot of trouble for a lot of guys in this field. So with all the trouble, right, what do you do, right, if you're the crew chief? Do you make that call to go ahead and use that fast repair? Or do you continue to try to massage the fenders? Do you continue to try to minimize the trouble? Do you continue to try to fix the damage? Right now, it's a tough call, right? We've seen a lot of trouble and a lot of issues. But we're going to have a lot of drivers out on the track with a lot of damage. You can see it right there. Greg Thompson, he's been involved in multiple incidents. Body slammed, no front clip at one point in time. The weight of Thompson looks like he may have decided to use that fast repair. Andrew Moore also coming and getting that quick fix done. So a handful of drivers say, you know what? I think it's worth it. I think we're going to have a lot of damaged cars out there just trying to make some laps, try to work their way to the end before using that fast fix. This may be the opportunity to separate ourselves and put a little distance on the field. Because the biggest thing, right, biggest thing here is if these drivers can't get back to pit road on their own accord, if they got to call the tow truck for some help, that's going to put them behind the eight ball in a very, very big way. When they finally do get to pit road, they'd be able to use that fast fix at that time. But getting there could be the problem. Over halfway through tonight's race, we've got big movers. We've got, well, we don't like to say big losers, but we've got drivers that have had quite an eventful night, is how we'll put it. The 08 of Greg Thompson, your pole sitter, now sits in 17th. But on the opposite side of the spectrum, behind the wheel of the 23, no front clip. He's up 19 positions from where he qualified. Gonna restart this race in 4th. Looking like track position more influential on that driver and crew chief's decision to stay out on the racetrack. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how these drivers fare as we get set to go back green flag racing once again. Temperatures rising as the cold ocean breeze rolls across the track under the lights here from Daytona International Super Speedway. Our good buddy Joe Hugo gonna bring that pace car back to pit road this time around, and we will go back racing. There's the call to pit road. Pace car going to make that left-hand turn, and we're going to get set to fire the engines off once again on the gas. Bit of a jump on the high side. Big jump there on the high side out of that 94. That's going to stack up the outside lane and getting away to a sizable advantage on this restart. Not so sure you want to get that far out front, but Scott Wise going to easily take that high side. A little bit of contact there on the tail end. The 77 into the back end of the 23. He's going to move to the bottom of the racetrack. That's going to lead Brandon Browning to the high side. 37 of Mark Ackerman. Check this out. That Monster Energy machine looks to roll third. Outside lane struggling a little bit with the disappearing act going on. The shake and bake crewmates trying to work their way back together. Look at how loose these cars are. big bump draft and push through the triangle. Had that 48 Wonder Bread machine all sorts of out of shape. You can see even on the backstretch, with the contact and the big pushes, there is a lot of movement out of these cars. Going by Mark Willett for the 13th position. Battles all over the racetrack here, side by side, front of the field. Browning gonna lead that lap. And as we complete yet another, let's drop that timing and scoring back to the left-hand side of your screen. Hot and heavy action at the front of the field. Let's jump on board. We got one of the onboards. Let's go with the onboard camera here. Turn 3 gyro cam. On board with the 77 of Andrew Moore. Third car. Inside lane, you can see him move up to a little bit of a side draft, trying to slow the momentum of the high side out of the gas heading into 3. My gosh, this is... I tell you what, I'm not behind the wheel, and I'm getting scared. There is a lot of movement out there on the track behind the wheel of these Gen 6 machines. Side by side for your top 6 positions. Make that 8, 9, and 10. And there it is, bottom of the racetrack. Heading to the rear of the field. It looks like the 48's had enough. Oh, close there. 38 going to drop to the bottom. Attacking up the track. Big damage. Another big one here from Daytona. Trouble at the front. Contact between drivers at the front of the field, and that's going to put us under caution once again. With the contact at the front of the field again, multiple drivers involved in this latest incident. We're going to take this opportunity to take a quick commercial break, pay a few of the sponsor bills, so don't go anywhere, race fans. We'll be back with all your green flag action right here from Daytona.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Backtrack side with the front of the field as they head through 3 and 4. Pace car lights are off. We're ready to go back. Green flag racing once again. You're from Daytona International Super Speedway. To the tri-oval, we roll, pace car in, and we are ready to go. Green flag racing once again here from Daytona. Bit of a struggle getting going. The 48 Wonder Bread machine. You can see contact multiple times of the outside wall coming through that tri-oval. Tough break so far here for that 48 as Scott Wise shot out of a cannon on the high side. Wise, one of the drivers involved with some heavy trouble under our latest caution. He came to pit road. Looks like he has used that fast fix. He is. Looking at lead laps here, we've got a 2-car breakaway at the front. Wise and your pollster, Greg Green Thompson. Gonna have a little bit of a buffer zone, and it's gonna go away in quite a bit of a hurry. Lap number 63 gonna go on the board as we drop the timing and scoring back to the left-hand side of your screen. Here you can see Andrew Moore working his way back into the mix. Single file racing now here at Daytona for one of the first times tonight. We see almost the entire field single file down at the bottom of the racetrack. A little bit of house cleaning in order as we reach right at that 35 lap remaining mark here tonight. 23 drivers took to the starting grid here tonight. We have still got 18 remaining on the track. The 40 of Bowman Pendergast down on pit road trying to fix his machine, still trying to get out there and complete a handful of laps. But as we said, only 18 drivers are remaining on the track, 17 left on the lead lap, and the front of the field starting to separate themselves. Joe Wells in the 3 machine coming into tonight's race, your overall point series leader, 13 points ahead of Dakota Bailey. And with Bailey's trouble here tonight, the 3 looking to capitalize and extend that points lead. He's going to need a little bit of help, though. He's had some trouble here tonight. Wells running back in 16th. Mark Willett, Little Rescue, number 8 machine, going to stay to the high side. Allow the race leaders to go around on the bottom of the racetrack. We'll get a little closer to the action as we stay single file here off of 4. As we said, biggest mover of the race now belongs to that number 9 machine. 4th driver in line, Corey Coe, sitting in the 4th position, up 18 spots from where he qualified from outside of your top 20, now into a top 5. Looking through the field, trying to find the Drift King, and there he is, sitting in that 8th position. You can see him just in front of, I believe that is going to be Mark Willett, who jumped down to the bottom of the racetrack trying to get in line with these guys. A lot of damage on that rear deck lid of the 08 of Greg Thompson, your pole sitter. You can see the middle beaten in from all of the bump drafting going on. We've got we got a modified pack. Let's take a look right here. 3 out of the 4 drivers in this 4-car pack, no front flips. And again, that brings us back to when are these drivers willing to burn that quick repair, that fast fix for the moment? Smith, Benefield, Johnson, their crew chiefs playing to the let's stay out. If something happens and we're involved in it, we may have to do something about it, but right now, let's just keep going. Looking to utilize that fast fix a little bit later on throughout tonight's race. Ada Mark Millett a little off pace, going to break up the 4-car pack as they try to pick him up here. Millett going to get some of the draft, but that's going to cost the 93 of Darrell Johnson. That's going to cost him a little bit of ground. It just doesn't look like that Nerf bar of the 23 of Richard Smith really lining up, really doing any bit of good. So a second pack right here. Let's go back to the third pack on track, maybe possibly playing things safe. Fast fixes already used by the 38, the 64, the 17, and the 3. They're going to stay packed up running with each other, but they are quite a bit of a ways back from your race leader. As of right now, Thurlow 7.5 seconds back, but it has a clear chance to stop if there's trouble in front. But with now only 30 laps remaining, will we see another caution flag? A lot of movement out of the 4-5 drivers just off in front of them, but let's head back to your lead pack. Nice, neat, orderly. At the front of the field, Scott Wise continues to lead this race with pole sitter Gregory Thompson right behind him. Andrew Moore, Corey Cohen, Darren Mack will round out drive for the first time here tonight. Third pack has caught up to that second pack. It's going to be an 8-9 car pack now if they can stay hooked together and stay nice and organized. They could possibly have a chance to run down this lead pack. Still a long way to go to catch them. Over a 6, almost make it 7-second disadvantage. A lot of ground to be made up. You're gonna have to be as organized and clean, smooth as you can if you're gonna want to reel in these race leaders. And for the moment, it is not working out. They're gonna lose another 1/10 of a lap, another 1/10 of a second this lap. We'll see if they can't get things straightened out and try to run down your race leaders as we are right around the corner of 25 laps remaining here at Daytona. This is what it's all about. This is what it comes down to. You've made the decisions. You've made your bed. Now it's time to lay in it. Like if you're Scott Wise, he's already used that fast fix. He cannot afford any more trouble here tonight. That's why you see him out front. If you're the leader of the race, unless you are the caution, chances are you're not going to be in the caution. Eight-car breakaway at the front of the field. Scott Wise, Grant Thompson, Andrew Moore in tow. Corey Coe right there in 4th. Darren Mack 5th. Al Likens in 6th place. Zach Alanin up 11 spots from where he qualified, with Jacob Drift rounding out this 8-car pack at the front of the field. The Drift King just kind of holding on, buying time right now. We believe he's one of the drivers that has already used his fast fix as well. We're waiting to hear confirmation on that one. We'll get you the official yes or no as soon as we possibly can. Sometimes the crew chiefs like to hold that a little close to their heart. We'll see if we can't find information away from that 14 crew, but for the moment, back across the line this time around, we'll have just 25 laps to go. Looking through timing and scoring at when the last time these drivers were on pit road. Lap number 59. The last time these drivers were on pit road, close to a 20-lap run now for a handful of these drivers in the field. When will they have to come to pit road? Will they need a green flag pit stop? We haven't seen a green flag pit stop all night, but with big separation in the field, two very distinct packs, green flag pit stops may become a possibility. Watch the lead pack as they stay pretty orderly, pretty much single file. You can see the 9 of Corey Coe looking out to the right-hand side, more than likely just getting some fresh air into the radiator to cool the temperatures down. Losing time here. This second pack. The second pack has grown. They've got more help, but it is not helping at all. Losing a full second, almost 2 seconds. In 5 laps, they are quickly falling behind the 8 ball, and they may very well need at least one more of those pesky caution flags to fly to catch up and have a relevant opportunity at a race win. So with the way things are shaping up here, we're not trying to jinx it. Long green flag run underway here. One of our longest green flag runs here tonight. Green flag pit stops may be a possibility. But the biggest possibility that we see is a new race winner. Only one previous race winner inside of this front draft, inside the top 8. And that's the man at the rear of this pack, behind the wheel of that Drift King number 14 Chevy machine, Jacob Drift, the only driver inside of this front pack to get to victory lane. Will he make it a second? Can he make it a second from that far back? We say that far back, he's only about a second back. Really not pushing the envelope right here. Looks like most of these drivers willing to stay about a half a car length or so off of each other. A bit of a gap, 2 to 3 car length back from Andrew Moore to Corey Coe, but still well in touch, well within that drafting sweet spot where he can get a huge toe up to those top 3 if he needs to. Could he possibly be getting ready to test the waters, to test a run? Now's the time that I typically like to tell my drivers, hey, look, we got ourselves 20 laps to go. Let's see what we've got. Let's see who's willing to work. Is anybody willing to work and find out how many laps it's going to take to make their way to the front? You never know till you know. Sometimes it's a blessing, sometimes it's a curse. I always like to tell my drivers when I'm on the pit box or up in the spotter stand, you know, let's give it a try. You know, there's only 8 of us right here. Worst case, we're going to end up in that 8th position. You got to make sure that if nobody comes with you, you let these guys by and you get back to the bottom just as quickly as you can to not lose the draft and take yourself completely out of contention for a race win. But you got to find out, right? You got to know. Should see spotters beginning to walk up and down of the roofs here, trying to find drivers to work with. Who's willing to go? Who's willing to stay? Are we going to keep it this way until 10 to go, to 5 to go? Do you got enough fuel? We're looking at this on fuel, so a lot of strategy going on. A lot of drivers needing some friends till the end. But as we all know, when it comes to racing in general, especially super speedway racing, you've got friends until it is the end. And then ain't nobody a friend, not even a teammate. #23 of Richard Smith going to be our latest driver to fall off of the lead lap. The Jurassic Park number 23 tried his hardest, and he will unfortunately fall victim to faster machines. No front clip on the 23, lost the draft that he was with. And your race leader's going to make short work of him. "17 laps to go now as we cross the stripe, and Corey Coe getting a little bit out of line here. He did have a driver stay with him. Darren Mack stayed glued to him. So maybe testing the waters to see if I look out there, who's going to look with me. And there's the big run. Here it comes. Will they look to the outside heading into turn number 3? If I'm the 9, if I'm Corey Coe, I'm going. Let's take a look. Let's jump on board. What do you say, race fans? Let's jump on board real quick. Right along with a man sitting fourth in line. You can see some damage on the rear of that 77 Golf Racing Camaro just in front. Heavy damage on the 08 of Greg Thompson as well. Scott Wise, he cannot afford any more damage here tonight. So I'm trying to get that run. All right, I'm going to lay back a little bit. Get a big run down the back stretch. And I'm going to try my luck heading into 3. I want to see if I can get it timed right and if it's going to take more than one lap. But that's what that's what you may have to deal with. You can see that 40 machine stuck to the high side. Oh, and there it is, coming to pit road. Drivers to pit road this time around. Gotta get the car woed up, slowed down. Will we see it? Pit road penalties. Front of the field, handful of drivers will stay out. 6 out of your top 8 to pit road. That's gonna leave Darren Mack and Al Likens all alone. And if I'm the crew chiefs right now, I'm probably on the horn yelling at the spotters. Why couldn't you get us down? Why couldn't you let us know the field was coming to pit road? We're going to be limited on options here now. We're going to have to come to pit road with the 94. Our fate is sealed together. Will they come to pit road this time around? Looks like they're going to do so nice and easy. Oh, gets it slowed down, but a big slide. And we'll see if Mack was able to get the car wound down enough to avoid a pit road penalty. That's going to hand the race lead over to this group of drivers. Remember, we talked about that second group just kind of hanging out. Was it a methodical move? They last came to pit road on lap number 16. That's going to be a 40-lap run to the end. I don't think they've got it in the tank. I think they're still going to have to come to pit road. Front of the field pitted on lap number 85. And I just it's going to be a tough one. Honestly, going to be a tough one. Halanen and Likens able to avoid pit road penalty, so everybody that has come down pit road clean and clear for the first and only green flag stop so far. We're waiting to see when this second pack will make their way to pit lane for the final time here tonight. For the moment, Joe Wells sits out front. He's going to enjoy some points for leading a handful of laps. 18-second advantage over Andrew Moore, who was able to leapfrog Scott Wise. Should this pack at the front now come to pit road, that will hand over the race lead to Andrew Moore. How patient will you be, though? If you are Scott Wise, if you are Andrew Moore, if you are Greg Thompson, and not very patient, there you go. You can see what was an 8-car field split up a little bit. A little bit of gaps, a little bit of a distance there. Andrew Moore going to fall back a handful of positions, help Corey Coe run back to the tail end of this 08. But with 10 laps to go, this next time around, when will your race leaders head to pit lane? That's going to be the question. That's going to be the issue. 59 of Darren Mack lost a lap along the way, sitting back in the 16th position, trying to hang on to this lead group of drivers. 5 of them now hooked up, running with each other. for the race lead. As the lead pack comes to pit road, Wells, Thurlow, Britton, Durham, Johnson, Beneful, Ackerman, all to pit lane. That's going to hand the race lead over back to the good wrench. Number 31 machine of Scott Wise. Will anybody test the waters? 10 to go. You're running out of time. What will the car do? Do you have enough under the hood remaining to get that time? That's one of the biggest questions. You gotta go. You gotta find out. Right, if you're Corey Coe, even if you're Greg Thompson, if you're Greg Thompson, you got single car speed. You walked away with the U.S. Veterans Pole Award. How long do you wait? I don't know. This is the. I don't want to say this is the problem with restrictor blade racing, but it's the conundrum, right? Do I jump and try and lose positions? Or do I jump and try and take the race lead? Without a lot of laps left, you're ill afforded the opportunity to have to reset this run. Alright, so if you're gonna try it, you gotta do it now. You gotta give yourself enough time to try to recover if it doesn't work out the way you wanted it to. I'm thinking these guys, they're going to put some blind faith into it at the end. I think they're going to just, they're just going to wing it, right? They're going to assume they can get a big run. They're going to just see how it all pans out and plays out. Will we see a block gone wrong at the end of tonight's race to bring out a final caution? A lot on the line, a lot at stake. Now inside of your top 5, only one previous race winner. Only one previous race winner inside of your top 10. Jacob Drift going to look to continue that string of top 10 finishes. Joe Wells looking to do the same. Wells sitting in a comfortable 8th position, but he is in a pack of drivers. He can lose a couple positions here before the end of tonight's race. We'll keep our eye back there, but for the moment, with just 6 laps to go this time by, we're going to keep him here at the front of the field. You're watching the Daytona 250 with the Masters of the Draft, brought to you by the National Association of Stock Car Virtual Racing. We've seen our longest green flag run so far here tonight, and it has come at the end of tonight's race. Green flag racing since lap number 65. We're going to have just 5 laps to go this time around. Over 30 laps of green flag racing now under these drivers' belts. But again, how long can you wait? When do you decide it's time to try? I really like the position that Scott Wise is in right now, but I've always felt like the sitting duck. Coming to the end of the race, especially these restrictor plate races, being the race leader. Right? Because if you try to make the move to block, and you're a little too late, something happens, it's all your fault. You're going to get blamed for it for blocking. Shouldn't be blocking. You hear it all the time. Through a block, I didn't lift, that's on him. If a driver makes a move, and you go up to block. But you make that second move right as you're moving. What I like to call the okey doke. You could put yourself in a bad position and just lose positions. If you're the second car in line, if you're Greg Thompson, what do? Do you start beating that rear bumper? Do you start tapping through the corner, maybe trying to upset the handling as the car goes through the banking? Do you give them bigger pushes on the backstretch and through the trioval? With 3 laps to go, all these questions, all these theories are going to come to an head. We're going to have a conclusion. We're going to find out who's willing to do what. And you know what? I made it this far. I'm willing to risk it for the biscuit. I don't care. I've ran with you. We got organized. We clicked off these laps. These laps belong to me now. So with popsicle sticks on display this time around, less than 5 miles of racing remaining, 2 laps around the track here tonight before we see the first checkered flag fly in the 4-week mini season in these Gen 6 machines. Wise feels comfortable, feels confident. He's led the vast majority of these final 30, 40 laps. Man, what's Thompson gonna do here? Out of 4 coming through the trioval, boss man to the flag stand, gonna pick that flag up, and white flag flies. Final lap here from Daytona International Super Speedway. Will the move come on the backstretch? Trouble in the back of the pack. Gregory Thurlow and Adam Benefield going to have some problems, but we're going to finish this thing out on the white flag down the backstretch. Still single. Oh, boy. Oh, my. Big trouble. Big trouble on the backstretch. Race leaders trying to avoid the carnage in front of them, and it backfired. Oh, no. Andrew Moore will secure his first race win with the trouble on the backstretch. Jacob Drift going to come home second. Greg Thompson going to finish this thing out in third. But trouble there. Oh, boy. As you see the fireworks on the backstretch, there was more than just the ones bursting in the air at the end of this thing. Ooh, there's going to be some controversy at the end of this, but nonetheless, new race winner for the first time this season, Andrew Moore will pick up the checkered flag here from Daytona. So as drivers finish their laps, we're going to step away for just a brief commercial break. Don't go anywhere, race fans. We'll be right back. and back trackside at the conclusion of tonight's race here from Daytona International Super Speedway. A bit of trouble throughout the night for a handful of drivers. Big trouble on the backstretch, on the final lap, changed the dynamics and the outcome of tonight's race. But we're going to dive right in to our post race interviews. Let's see if we can catch up and have a few words with the driver in the field here tonight. Let's see if we can't start off with the driver that finished in third, walked away with that U.S. Veterans Pole Award here tonight behind the wheel of the 08. Greg, it's Dave. You got a copy? And we'll try one more time here. Greg, it's Dave. You got us? Hey, bud, how you doing? How you feeling? You walked away with the U.S. Veterans Pole Award. A little bit of a chaotic finish there on the last lap, but nonetheless, you walk away with a pole position. How good you feeling now to get this first one out of your way?
Feel all right, but I'm still trying to process what happened on that last lap because I'm having a feeling someone's not going to be around for a while because that I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, well, what you know, I don't want see now. Uh, I understand, and I want to say I agree, but I don't want to seem like I'm politicking either. You know what I mean? I kind of like to let the admins, race control, and officials kind of handle the aftermath of things. So you know, a bad moment. Let's categorize it as that, a bad moment there.
Oh,
On the last
was,
lap. So
yeah, it was definitely a bad moment, and I was in the catbird seat, and I possibly could have won it with the with the last corner pass because I had my teammate in front of me. I mean, all five of us were teammates working up there, and we were going to finish 1 through 5, and then that happens, you know. But anyway, the race was okay except for the very first part of it, where we had a lot of cautions there at the beginning. I got some damage. I nursed the damage for a while until I had to take the quick repair about midway through the race because I was down about 60 RPMs. Once I did that, once we got up front and us five got together, we basically started gapping the field. And once we did that, we decided to run the fuel out and pit there around, I think it was 85. And we got out and we continued gapping them. I mean, I think we were 27 seconds ahead of the field by by the last lap. So I think us five we figured something out there at the end.
yeah, you guys definitely got very organized. The pushing and shoving calmed down between you guys at the front. I think that afforded you guys the opportunity to really start stretching things out on the rest of the field. Barring everything that went down, still a fantastic night for you and your 08 crew. You got the points for snatching the pole position. You led a handful of laps. You walk away with a podium spot. So you're going to be looking good heading into the iRacing Super Speedway race next week. If you had to give us some quick thoughts before we let you go here tonight, what's your feelings moving forward to that massive crazy beast of a plate track that is the iRacing Super Speedway?
Well, I actually like iRacing Super Speedway. A lot of people hate it, but I tend to like it. However, these cars are very, very fast. You can get up to almost 250, 260 miles an hour on the straightaway. So they are super fast there. And the other problem is that you got to watch the engine temperatures because they will heat up fast, but they will cool down slow.
Yeah, absolutely. The temperature's definitely going to come into play. The speed's going to be a big factor as well. So before we let you go here tonight, Greg, again, congratulations on walking away with the third position, walking away with a handful of points. Before we let you go, would you like to give any final shout-outs, thank yous, love yous?
Yeah, I want to thank my wife for letting me do this. Without her letting me do it, I wouldn't be able to do this. I'd like to thank my main sponsor on my car, Mac Yak podcast we do every Thursday. Well, we used to do it every Thursday night. We kind of put a hiatus for a while, but they're still all up there, about 200 plus episodes. So go check it out. It's Mac Yak on YouTube. Other than that, I got a shout out to my teammates, everybody, Scott Wise, Pondo Co., Andrew Moore, everybody, and Drift. I mean, all of us, we worked real well together, and I appreciate those teammates.
Absolutely, man. Well, again, congratulations on the great run here tonight. Until next time, stay safe, and as always, keep it fast. All right, there you go. Final words for the man that walks away third here tonight. Your U.S. Veterans Pole Award winner, Greg Thompson, will finish your podium drivers tonight. Previously scheduled post-race obligations, gonna keep our second place finisher, the Drift King Jacob Drift, away from post-race interviews. The driver out of Georgia gonna get it done and walk away with yet another top 5 here tonight. So moving forward in the point standings, Drift, he's gonna be one of those drivers you're gonna have to watch out for. I think he's going to be one of those sneaky drivers that just finds a way to continue these podium runs. And we'll see if we can't catch up with Jacob next week at the iRacing Super Speedway. So with that being said, right to victory lane. For the first time this season, he led a handful of laps, had some damage early, but at the end, after the carnage and chaos, he comes through unscathed and into victory lane. Andrew, it's Dave. You got a copy?
How's it going, Dave? It's been a while.
It has been a while, man, and I don't want to say unfortunate circumstances got you here. I mean, you were right there at the end, but somewhat of a crazy little finish. Fortunately enough for yourself, you did walk away with a race win. Unfortunately, for some of your teammates, you walked away with the race win, and they ended up in a little bit of trouble. But we're gonna try to avoid politicking about that for the moment. But yeah, man,
those are all my teammates, first through fifth there, and we were all just gonna ride until the last corner and then race it out. Try to get some side-by-side action. I was hoping for a podium at best,
Well,
But then the crazy stuff happened there, and I just got lucky. If you watch it, I almost got hit like 4 times going through that. I just got lucky.
Well, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, and that's going to definitely be the case here tonight. I mean, I don't want to say you weren't good tonight, right? You ran inside of the top 10 and the top 5 for a vast majority of the race. As we said, you had a little bit of trouble early, a little bit of damage, a lot of drivers caught up and involved in things. But at the end of the day, barring everything, you're still down as the race winner here tonight. You're still going to put yourself on top of the point standings heading into iRacing Super Speedway. So how you feeling about these cars? How you feeling about these next 3 weeks?
These cars are a lot of fun. They go pretty fast. The drafting is good. They're not as touchy as those 87s, even though I did really good in the 87 cars. These are just, you can do a lot more in these. And as you saw there, if a team gets away and they're good at drafting, we can just pull away.
And you guys were able to link up, finally get organized without a lot of shenanigans going on between you. You guys just kind of began to log those laps and just continually pull away from that second pack, which afforded you guys a nice entry to pit road for that one and only final green flag. Yeah, great stop on the green flag pit stop.
We had it coordinated who was going low, who's going high, based on where their pit stops were. And we all made it off pretty good. I think I forget who didn't make it off, but we were basically all set.
Well, you guys set it up and executed well. You set yourselves up for a good finish. Some of you got the good finish. Not so lucky for some others, but we're going to not dwell on that for the moment. Walking away with the first race win of the season, it's got to feel good. So you're going to break into that winners column as well.
Yeah,
set
it's been
yourself up.
tough lately. All these guys are very competitive, and it's been a while since I've been in the winner circle, so we'll take them.
Well, hopefully this isn't the final time. Hopefully we get to talk to you here in the next few coming weeks. But before we let you go and celebrate and then go debrief with the crew and the teammates, would you like to give any final shout outs, thank yous, love yous?
Yeah, the whole team, Torque Ranch Motorsports, Scott, Pondo, Greg, Drift, who do we have in there? Dave, no, Jack, tonight. It was all well raced as a team, and it went out pretty well until that last little bit there. But yeah, it was a great night, and thanks for Dave in the Cave for broadcasting.
Well, man, as long as you guys continue to have this great action, I know there's cautions, things happen. It's played racing, kind of like short track racing. But you guys put on one hell of a show week in, week out. I'm glad I get to call the action. Glad I get to see you in victory lane once again. But until next time, my friend, stay safe. And as always, keep it fast.
Thanks, see you, Dave.
All right, there you have it. Final few words for the man that walks away for the first time with the checkered flag this season. Andrew Moore will take the top spot here tonight from Daytona International Super Speedway, and that's going to set ourselves up to begin to roll up the cords and cut off the lights. Get ready to make that trip to the iRacing Super Speedway. So with the music in the background, you know it's time for us to run down tonight's unofficial race results from Daytona International Super Speedway for the National Association of Stock Car Virtual Racing's Masters of the Draft. Andrew Moore going to take the top spot with Jacob Drift right in tow. Gregory Thompson, your U.S. Veterans Pole Award winner, will finish in third. Joe Wells back in fourth. Fifth place tonight belongs to the 93 of Daryl Johnson. Al Likens slides home in sixth. Corey Cohen, 7th. 8th place tonight to Zach Lennon's Jack Durham. In 9th, the 31 of Scott Wise will finish in 10th. Darren Mack back at 11th. William Britton, 12th. 13th tonight to Mark Ackerman. Richard Smith in 14th. Adam Benefield back in 15th. 16th place tonight to Gregory Thurlow. Mike Willett. Mark Willett in the 17th spot. 18th belongs to Bowman Pendergrass. Brandon Browning going to pilot his 48 machine home to a 19th spot. Landon Lacey back in 20th. David Duke, Dakota Bailey, and Dave Fuge round out the 23 car field. So that's going to do it. That's going to be it for us tonight from Daytona International Super Speedway. If you haven't already, continue the support. Show these drivers the love and appreciation. Make sure you drop that thumbs up. So join us in that push to 4,000 subscribers. Drop these drivers the thumbs up. Click subscribe. Smash the bell over there at the right-hand side to get notified anytime we go live here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. From myself, Dave the Cave, and everybody else back at the headquarters. Stay safe. Stay loved, my friends, and until next time, we'll meet ya in Turn 3.